Hi everyone, welcome to the second video of Hack My Own Server. I wish you enjoyed the video so far. If you haven't got a chance to check the first video yet, I'll add a link here. Before I jump right in to show you how I set up a DNS server to take over www.google.com in my network, I want to give you a brief of how my home network looks like. I have a router that takes a static IP of 254 in the subnetwork, and it is used as a DHCP server, handing out dynamic IP addresses and actually the DNS server addresses for my clients. My Linux server, though, has its own static IP address. And there I have Samba, I have HTTP service on it. And my Windows and Mac clients will always use the router as their DNS server. Now, the change that I want to show you today is to set up a DNS server on the Linux. And I'll switch it on the router to use it. Let's get started. The first step is to install Bindline. This is a widely used DNS server. DNS service runs on port 53. I'm configuring the firewall to allow it. Making sure the rule is there. Okay, let's jump back to configure the DNS server. Most of the configurations or settings are included by this file. The options will allow us to configure the behavior of the DNS server. The local file configures the zones that's owned by this server. I'm not going to worry about default zones for now. Let's take a look at what I put in options. First, I create an access control list for my subnet, and I call it the trusted. Then I set recursion to yes, so that this DNS server will take queries, and only clients in trusted list is allowed. This is the DNS server's static IP address. Since I don't have a second DNS server, transfer is not allowed. Forwarders are pointing to Google's DNS servers at this moment. That is, when this server cannot resolve the name, it will forward the query to Google. I always intend to check the DNS service configurations by running this command. And no return means everything's good. Now that the option's there, let me show you what I did to set up the very first zone in this server. Since it's a local zone, it's in the local file. It's very simple. I just create a zone named home.snx. What it does here is it's going to point into the zone file. The zone file is just a router table. It gives the DNS service enough information to find the address for the zone owned by the server. The @ in this file stands for the domain name, home.snx in this case. SOA here stands for start of authority, which is the beginning of the file, and followed by ns.home.snx, which is the DNS address, and then it's the email address of the DNS admin. Below that is a name server address, and this name server in this zone is named ns.home.snx. Then we have two A records here. For this one, sn.home.snx will pointing to the IP address. At the same time, home.snx will pointing to the exact same IP address. I also have two C names here, and they both pointing to NS. What does that mean is files.home.snx will pointing to ns.home.snx, which then will pointing to the same IP address. Now my plan is to add a local zone. I'm going to introduce a conflict. What does that mean is I'll set a zone, say google.com. Actually, second thinking, maybe bing.com. So that when DNS query from within my private network comes in and asking for bing.com, I'm going to reply them the address of the web server that I hosted. And that will complete the DNS Hijack. Let's see what will happen. Let me put down the zone name of bing.com here. And I'll make up the path to the DB file. Down the zone file, let's copy the path to the DB file. Start by copying it from db.home.snx. Change the authority, admin mail, bump up the version, update the server name. I don't think I need to change the A records. No change to the C names either. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let me do a final check for the syntax of the zone file. Great. Let's restart the DNS service to load the settings. Done. Now I'll jump back to the client to do some check. First, I want to use Dick to see the DNS responses. I knew it would work for home.snx. Let's see bing.com. Yep. Can't wait to see it in browser. Eh. What? How's the other domain name? Okay, this one works, but they are pointing to the same server. Maybe it's a browser. Let's try curl. Oh, so curl works. Well, I think this is a browser. Hey, if you have any idea what's going on, please leave a comment to let me know. For now, I'm going to show you something that I always wanted to do. Remember the file share example in the last video that I have to punch in the whole IP address? I'm going to use the domain name to try it again this time. I think this will work. Haha. If you notice in the video, I always use the IP address for SSH connection. I want to try to use domain name too. Nailed it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you the next time.